Hey everybody, it's Karen and I have made another miniature. It's a working recliner. This video is in collaboration with Real Life Dollhouse Miniatures. We both decided to do sofa sets of some sort. I made the modern beachy working recliner. She made an outdoor mosaic wicker dining set. And when she showed me the pictures, they were amazing and such a good idea. Please head on over to her channel and watch her dining set tutorial. I'm excited to see how she made it, and I hope you're excited to see how I made this one. I'm going to show you at the very end of the video what it looks like compared to my face, so please stick around for that if you want to see that part, and I think you will be, as always, I am too, quite shocked at how small this recliner actually is. I'm very modest and I hate asking you guys for anything, but I started realizing, and someone put it very eloquently, clicking on the bell notification icon is basically like a second subscription icon. The real subscribing doesn't really do a lot for me. It doesn't let you know that my video is posted. If you guys could click on that bell notification icon to make sure that you guys are actually seeing my content and not seeing my content when you may want to. And I think I'm going to be doing smaller projects. Maybe not a huge working mechanical thing every single time I post something. Everything on here is 1/24 scale, and then the next two pages I put everything in 1/12 scale. These are dimensions for a love seat and sofa. So this is the love seat and that's the sofa, and then this is their side view. I haven't decided if I want to make it yet. It's in 1/12 scale, but I would still make it in 1/24 scale. If you guys want me to make that, please let me know. So I know this is a little complicated to look at, but it's a little integral to showing you how I created the mechanism inside. So the green is actually when everything is opened and extended all the way, and then the pink is not only hidden because you don't see this from the outside, it's when everything is closed. The main thing that I wanted to show you was I have 4 yellow circles here, and that is the radius from the hinge to the actual like radius that everything is falling on, if you know what I'm saying. Like each hinge, like this hinge falls on this radius from this main center point, and then this hinge falls on this radius. This is the fulcrum, and the fulcrum is what drives this entire mechanism. So when you start from the closed position and you draw it back, right, this fulcrum inside is going to move from here to here, and I made it 90 degrees, right? So the length that this fulcrum moves needs to be the exact same length that this hinge moves from this center point, right? The back seat cushion doesn't move nearly as far as the footrest, so the distance between the movement of that needs to be the same distance as the movement of these two. Does that make sense? Do you see what I'm saying? And then these are just like the love seat and sofa dimensions. And this is the 1/24 scale size of what everything would be. This is what the closed mechanism looks like, and this is what the open mechanism looks like. You can see the slant here versus the slant here. It would, depending on this hinge, it would come this way and lean perfectly against the slanted seat. Welcome to my AutoCAD workspace. It's a little messy right now, so I apologize. I need to clean it up. Looking at both the open and closed models helped me put the mechanism together in real life more than printing it out on a piece of paper. I didn't really use this as much as I used the actual 3D picture that I took on my phone. So with that out the way, let's begin. I started with the footrest cushion There were supposed to be 2 parts on it, but I only used one of them. I used the top part and not the bottom part, and I'll show you why later on in the video. I used scrap wood for most of this project, and then some of my scaled lumber that I've shown you guys. And as usual, I cut it with an X-Acto knife or a handsaw, and then filed it down with a diamond file. I always check the pieces I've completed against the picture to make sure that they are actually exact. In orange, the wood is the back part of the piece, and then I'll put fabric over that and stuff it with batting. I made the support rods next. They're made from a 1mm thick music wire. I actually had to change the lengths of these. I didn't take into consideration the fabric thickness when I created the 3D model. I made a pin to insert into the mechanism to stop the fulcrum. When making the seat cushion, I wanted to have the wood supporting the batting and fabric on top of it to be seated in the seat support later on. I gave it a slanted design to fit the hinge of the back cushion, which you will also see later on. So with the sides slash armrests, it is 2 pieces mirrored, but I actually made a mistake when I was drawing and I've since fixed it, but in here it's not fixed. The right one shouldn't have a hole going all the way through for the fulcrum rod, and I try to show you that in the video, so just pay attention if you really want to pay attention. The seat support is the only big piece that doesn't need fabric on it. You're not supposed to dimension hidden lines, but instead of adding a new view altogether, since everything had 2 views and I'm a perfectionist, I decided to break the rules. It slants upward because the mechanism rods were going to interfere with the piece. Once the armrests were dry, I measured out all the holes. Again, the right side, or I guess like stage left side, doesn't need the pin holes or a hole that goes all the way through. I use a precision pin by set. I love it. This is the fulcrum mechanism rod that does go all the way through on the lever side. And then the back cushion hinge doesn't go through all the way on both pieces. It'll all start making sense once everything comes together. I only drilled the 0.5mm holes on the lever side and not the other side. While working on the back cushion, I wanted to show you that I had that hidden wood piece. The empty space is for the fabric and batting. I measured off the slant and cut it out with a saw. Glued it together. And the back cushion hinge actually needs room on the front end to pull onto the back cushion, so a chunk of the first half of the wood needs to be cut out. This piece took the longest to make because it had the most intricate design. It ended up working out really, really well. The whole chair moves so smoothly. I love it so much. I drew the 2mm space that I filed out with a round diamond file. This piece really worried me, especially with the tufted button holes, which I measured and drilled, and I wanted to get them perfect because I've seen miniature tufted buttons not come out very well. I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but it looks really good. The holes don't have to be precise, it's how you sew the tufted buttons. And you can see the hinge, how I want it to work on the seat support and the seat cushion when they're glued together. So the legs, I had two designs. I decided to go with the square leg. I think it looks really nice, really modern. I don't know, there's something about the circles I didn't like. I sanded it down after whittling it away a little bit, and they turned out really nice. There's two types of stationary hinges. There is a thicker type and then there is a thinner type. I filed away two of the corners. Drilled little holes in them, and this is where the thicker ones are going to go. They lift the footrest, and then the four skinnier ones you glue onto the back of the footrest cushion. And then I made 11 nuts 2 millimeters wide with a 1 millimeter hole in the center. I should have just made extra because they kept flying all over the place. 11 was the exact number I ended up using, but not in the places I thought they would be necessarily. They don't have to be perfect either because they're not integral to the mechanism. The footrest hinge I needed to get fairly exact, and I took my time with it. I used a 2 millimeter by 1 millimeter scaled lumber, and this scaled lumber is amazing. I won't have it any other way. Not anymore. I drilled 1 millimeter holes together so that they would be exact because these pieces attach the stationary hinge to the footrest cushion. The fulcrum moves the entire mechanism inside. I was hoping it would be strong enough. It did exactly what I planned it to do. Backrest cushions made the exact same way. You need to make sure that it actually fits into the back cushion though. The lever is actually 1.5 millimeters. I used scrap wood to file it down into its shape, and then I drilled a 1 millimeter hole into that as well. Here are all the pieces together, separated so that I could pick and choose them and not lose them.